I think the zombies community is at risk of self-destructing right now. I'm not gonna lie. It's not been okay. And like, it started when I brought Stanley on the podcast, like 12, 13 days ago, something like that. And then there's been even more stuff since then. Like,
there's more than Stanley?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
It's not just like,
all right.
His stuff is bad, and we'll get into that today. But there's more on top, and I'm just like, I'm worried. I'm worried for all of us that we are going in a very dark direction here. And I want to at least just like talk about it and address it and get into some of the details, because my God, things are crazy right now. So, Joe, you are a little less filled in on the Stanley situation. Is that right?
I am a little bit less filled in. I was on vacation. I was away.
Yes.
So I honestly don't know too much what's going on. I'm in the dark.
Yeah. So let me explain the situation to you, and that will hopefully help people at home be filled in as well on what exactly is going on here. This video is sponsored by Factor. We're going to talk about them in a little bit. But essentially, what I was hoping to do by bringing Stanley onto the podcast was I was hoping and praying I would be able to do something good, you know, for a small YouTuber, do something exciting, right? Just like way back in the day in 2011, something like that. Syndicate, of all people, brought me onto his channel, and we did a Call of the Dead series together. Maybe it was 2012, I forget. I can't remember exactly when.
Goodness.
But like, there was me, there was Mato Master back in the day.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like throwback names here. We went and played some zombies together, and it was really cool, right? And I got, I don't know, a couple thousand subscribers from it, and they were all dead subs, and my views didn't change, but like, it was still a really awesome gesture at the time. And I was like, you know what? 12 odd years later, I'm in a position now in the community where I want to sort of shine a light on some cool people, you know? I want to use my power responsibly, if you will. And I figured Stanley would be a really cool person to talk to, because he's got controversial opinions about zombies, but the controversy is not like, I am a questionable person. It wasn't that, but it was, I like the game.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
Who has that opinion? That's insane.
Not allowed.
Okay.
Like, cancelable offense. So I was like, he likes the game, and it'll be good to riff with him where I can play mediator, and I can play like devil's advocate, if you will, right? And he can say his opinions and his stances. I can probe those and figure out, do I agree with this? Do I disagree? But then let me push him further to see if I can sort of get us into some interesting intellectual territory, just as a discussion, right? And I did the same thing, sort of, with you, Joe, like a week before that podcast, because the previous episode was with you. And it was fine, right? It was chill. Now, you and I didn't really talk about zombie stuff too much, right?
Not too much. We were a little bit excited.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag. There was a lot of other things to talk about, right? You talked a little bit about the Dyer's Cast stuff. Like, there was a mixed bag in there. But I was unprepared. I was simply unprepared for the response that Stanley got. There were people being so rude about this man, and it made me feel responsible, because like, you guys at home, like Joe and I, we put so much of ourselves into these videos, right? And we're working tirelessly to bring you the content that we do. And I mean, Joe can attest to this. Like, Joe, like, what, 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, you did like a 15-hour day trying to get these videos finished, right?
Yeah, we did a back-to-back upload. It was like, let's see what happens if we put out a video a couple hours after. Yeah. And then I put in like 15, 16 hours or something that day. It was wild.
Yeah. And so that was like a 20-something minute video, and then another 10-minute video directly after, same day. Like, we're grinding here, okay?
I rendered that video. I went away off my computer for an hour, came back, and that was all I did until I went to bed. It's just like that's what happens.
Joe was flat out. I'm flat out all the time. Like, we really sink everything we have into this content, right? And what that does is, it obviously means there's lots of cool stuff for you guys to watch, but around those pieces of content, community forms, obviously, right? But what I do not want to get into a scenario of in the next several years of my career and whatever is one where we build up a community and an audience whose default position is to crap on somebody for not having the same opinions as them.
Right. That's not okay.
Yeah, and like,
it's not okay.
It's okay to disagree, But bro, some of the stuff that people were saying was so unnecessary. They were saying just random stuff about his appearance and about the fact that he was smiling, and they were being like, that's terrible. I'm like,
oh no,
like,
oh no, what? Happiness.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I think it's representative of a danger that not just the zombies community, but kind of everyone on the internet faces these days, with the way the internet polarizes people. It's something that we all kind of need to just occasionally have this kind of conversation about, so that we don't fall down various potential rabbit holes that just lead to places of suffering and sadness and unhappiness, right? Because those pipelines are out there. It's something that it just worries me, man. And I think you guys listening are really intellectual people. I think you're really smart people. And I think that with that comes a real appetite for engaging in these sorts of conversations we're having right now, which I love. And I'm so happy that that's who we are as a community, right? And I just want to make sure that we continue to set a really good standard, so that when other people come into the community, they are on that same wavelength. Because the wavelength that we've built as a community over the years is sick, but there's room for the sort of fringes of that to go off the deep end. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff as well, actually. We're going to talk about the fact that, like, September for zombies, it's been pretty dead, right? Like,
nothing going on.
Yeah.
There's been nothing.
It's been empty. We're going to talk about waning excitement for Black Ops 6, because excitement's been kind of stalling a little bit, I feel like. But we'll talk about that.
Such a high peak.
It was so high. We're going to talk about Black Ops 3, because Black Ops 3 was, like, hacked, but then it wasn't hacked. There's some controversy there, so we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about some new Treyarch comments on Liberty Falls, and also some, like, secret channel plan type stuff at the end as well. Some stuff that we've got coming up on the channel that you guys might be interested in. So it's quite a lot to get into today, but just setting the scene of like pre the Stanley situation, right? August as a month was crazy.
So right? Insane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we've never had an August like that before. Can you remember like any August that has been that intense? Ever?
No, they've never marketed the game so extensively, right?
Yeah.
Besides Cold War, they had a few things that were pretty in depth, like in August, I think.
Like a couple of things.
I think. Yeah, but it was never like that.
Yeah.
We got intro cinematics. We got so many details, Q&As.
The next gameplay itself as well.
Yes, yeah, the entire next gameplay. Like, when does that happen? When do people actually get to go play the map before the game comes out?
Yeah,
it doesn't really happen.
We've been hustling to meet the demand, I guess you could say, that content places on us. Like, when there's stuff happening, that in itself is an impetus for Joe and I to be like, all right, get up off your ass and make more videos.
Exactly. And like, what did we do better in August than the release of Modern Warfare 3?
Yeah, so we had 7 point something million views in August, long form. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, I think the launch of Modern Warfare 3 was 6.5?
I think it was like 7.5. I feel like I remember 7.5.
That might have been with short views though.
Maybe, but oh yeah, we did do shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think August, from using the MrRoflWaffles channel as like a community sentiment check kind of angle, which is not scientific, but still we can loosely say it. There.
Yeah.
August was pretty big. Like that was game launch sized interest.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. So much hype.
Which is awesome on one hand. On the other hand, it's really difficult. Like, I mean, Joe and I can sort of speak to this probably better than many. We really are hungry to make content when there's content to make, and sometimes that kind of gets the better of you. And like, I don't know about you, Joe, my whole life starts falling apart when I've got a lot of videos to make. Yeah, it's
so much on the plate.
Yeah, it's hard to, with the way that I think both of our brains work, actually, it's hard to see a month like that in front of us and not be sucked in to just spend all your time attacking that exciting problem, because it is exciting, right?
Oh yeah. Just always checking on the channel, seeing what people are saying. It's just like, you're so invested.
Yeah.
100%.
And like all the news that's coming out, it's like, oh my God, there's another thing I need to cover. And we'll post one video and then it's like, oh, there's another piece of news that means that I want to like continue the conversation from that first video in this next video. Or like I was hypothesizing about something in one video and then it's become reality by the second video. Like it's so fun to participate in the meta kind of game of being a zombies fan, which is not just playing the game. Like the wider structure in place in a month like August, so much fun. Like so good.
Oh yeah. August was a blast.
The problem is that by being a blast, I'm not eating properly. Like I'm running out of time to go to the gym. Yeah. I'm ordering food all the time. And that's actually something that I really, whenever I'm ordering food really often, it like makes me depressed, dude. Like ordering just crappy food from wherever.
Yeah, and then opening DoorDash and it's just like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and paying $50 on fees, and I'm just like, what? Yeah, so that's never fun. That actually is a really useful segue though, because like I said, Factor is sponsoring this video. Factor is today's video sponsor. They are basically a meal prepping solution that means that you don't need to order at all. So instead of trips to the grocery store, instead of having to choose what to eat as well, because that takes me about 45 minutes, instead of cooking the thing and all that time getting sucked up, Factor just bypasses that. So it's meal delivery with chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals. They get sent to you, and then you just warm them up in the microwave. Takes 2 minutes, easy peasy. And so you can skip all the overpriced spending $1 million a month on ordering food and still get the like restaurant level quality, but just for like a fraction of the price. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code MILO50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code MILO, MILO 50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. Meal prep, bro, it's a lifesaver. It means like the time I earn back from stuff like that means I can go to the gym. You actually need to go to the gym more often, probably, Joe. That's something that I think will help your
both agree on
brain survive. Yeah. But like it's difficult because good months are simultaneously like so destructive for YouTubers.
I know.
But it's been amazing, and I think Treyarch deserves a lot of credit for that, right? And as much as the Liberty Falls stuff has been mixed in its reception, to be generous,
yes,
I think that doesn't preclude us from honoring Treyarch's successes through the month of August. It was a banger, hands down.
No doubt. You cannot argue. You cannot argue that.
And I mean, would you say that the cool trailers and stuff means that we should ignore the Liberty Falls thing? No, right? I wouldn't say that. I don't think that Joe would say that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's okay to be critical of one thing while still praising another thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the zombies community downfall, I think, right now, or the trap that we keep falling into is that, for example, I'll make a video being like, this thing in Black Ops 6 is bad. For example, it being always online, right? I'll be like, that is bad. People will take that and they'll be like, therefore, Milo hates Kevin Drew and wants him to die. And I'm like, what?
No!
Gymnastics are you people doing? It sucks. And it's actually, it's really depressing because I obviously have seen over the years, many people say anytime someone is positive about Activision, they're a shill, right? Or anytime someone is not critical when they should be, they're a shill. What people don't realize is that if every single time I am constructively critical, like I was being on the podcast with Stanley, like I was in the previous Whiteboard, like as I really try to be at all times, I try to be that person. When the reaction to that is to be like, let's burn down Activision or something hyperbolic, it means I can no longer just do the normal, like almost journalistic, constructively critical thing because I know that people's reactions to the normal thing is unhinged, right?
Yeah, like, they're just going to hear it and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no thought process.
If, for example, if me posting the Stanley podcast where Stanley was positive about zombies meant that Stanley got death threats, which I don't think he did, but like, let's say that something awful like that did happen, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly, I can't bring small YouTubers onto the podcast anymore because this fringe external little group is spoiling it for everybody. And we can't let that happen. Like, so much cool stuff has happened over the years with big YouTubers getting small YouTubers involved with stuff. And like, I mean, take even the scenario where Jason Blundell chose JC Backfire, who was not a big YouTuber, right? Like, he was big in the sort of sense that he was not like a 1,000 subscriber channel, but he wasn't one of the top. He wasn't like Noah. He wasn't me. He wasn't Dalek, right? He could have so easily been like, yeah, I'll pick Dalek for that, or I'll pick Milo for that, or whatever. But he picked a smaller YouTuber, and that was awesome. Can you imagine if those things had to be snuffed out completely? Because
exactly, yeah.
Like,
yeah, imagine.
Just because JC was being positive about the game. Like, can you imagine?
Oh no, we picked somebody enthusiastic about the game.
Yeah.
Oh, no. And it's just like, all right.
Like, I get that the community has a strong resistance to shilling, and that is good. It is good that other YouTubers who are shills, like there are absolutely YouTubers out there that just shill straight up, and they're just bad at their jobs, in my opinion, right? And that happens, right? It's good to hold those people's content accountable if they're just being bogus, right? The problem is that that same scrutiny gets thrown around and amplified and then used as a weapon to attack people like Stanley. And I'm just like, Stanley had 12k subs when I brought him on. I think he's got like 16k now or something.
Oh, wow.
But the goal was not to funnel subscribers his way. The goal was for just him to be able to have a cool conversation on a big stage about zombies and offer a different take so that the audience listening would be able to be like, you know what? There's other sides of the coin here, right?
There are, yeah.
And
the big talking heads.
Yeah. Like, I thought it was a really cool opportunity to recognize that I have an opinion, but I do not have the only opinion.
Yes.
And I think the audience sort of reaction, in part, it wasn't everyone by any means, but there was just a lot of people that were just being really stuck in their ways of being like, yeah, actually, the hating opinion is the only opinion. And it's difficult because I want to recognize that I make negative videos sometimes, which are only negative so far as they are constructively critical. I do that. When something is bad, I say that it is bad, right? And I fear that when I say something is neutral, people or a friend of the channel like Stanley says something is neutral, something is good, and gets torn down because of it, I'm like, well, where is the balance here? You know,
what are we doing?
Yeah. What are we doing? It's scary. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if there really even is a solution. It's just partly the way the internet is these days, right?
Yeah. Communities love to cannibalize themselves. It's just, tear everyone down. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
Yeah. And it's always tricky because people, I guarantee, will be like, Milo is a hypocrite because Milo is negative about the game. And I'm like, you don't understand. Yes, I'm negative.
This is our job. We want it to be good.
Yeah, like, I'm negative, first of all, because I care. Second of all, I'm not just blindly negative. I'm negative because there are ways that things could improve. And I can see those things.
I know.
And I'm also not just negative. I am also positive. Like, I saw people saying, like, Milo is only negative about the game in the same week that I had posted a video that was titled something like Greatest Zombies Intro Cinematic of All Time.
Yeah.
Like, it's possible for me to like one thing and dislike another thing and for that to be okay. Like, it's so hard to find nuance online these days. I mean, I don't know about you, Joe. What's your Twitter feed like these days compared to like a year ago? Is it like a dumpster fire?
It can be a dumpster fire. My algo Twitter is really bad. It's just like, it's so negative and divisive, just everything. My Reddit feed is just the same thing.
Yep.
It's all just everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, my feeds are terrible. It's just like, I just don't scroll as much anymore because it's not worth it to me. And
that's the sad thing as well, right? Like, if we get to a place where, like, if every single time I posted something positive about zombies, right? If the reaction to that was like so like, oh my God, you're just shilling, for instance, right?
Yep.
I would never want to make anything positive anymore because I'd be getting hate for it. Like Stanley, for instance, Stanley happens to like Modern Warfare zombies, right? And he happens to like Cold War zombies as well.
Oh boy. And he's been playing for a while.
Yeah, and he knows that he's just generally like glass half full. I see the good in these things, even if there's a lot of stuff wrong with stuff. Like, he recognizes there's stuff wrong with Cold War, but he also is like happy about the good things in Cold War. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Valid. There's a lot to like in Cold War. I think in my retrospective, I think I gave Cold War like an 8, maybe.
Okay.
Like I think it was a strong game.
I could agree with that. It was fun. It had really fun gameplay.
And so like, that's just, it's actually another perfect example where it's like, I know, for example, Joe, you and I might agree on Cold War where there's elements of it that we really like. It's got problems. But we disagree on our opinions of something much more classic, like Origins, for example. Right?
Yeah. So,
you're not an Origins guy, is that right?
No, I mean, I started playing zombies from the start from Noct. This first map I played, right? And then we got to like Mob of the Dead. I thought Mob of the Dead was cool. I still liked it. But then you got to Origins and it was just like, there's so much setup just to play the game. It's like, I just want to go in, I want to play the game and have fun. And like, I had that opinion at that time. And I was really just kind of sad with the fact that it took me over an hour and I had to look up a bunch of things to figure out how to play the map.
Right. There's so much setup time.
And yeah, so over the years I've kind of iterated on that stuff and like made it a little bit better, have a little bit better of a balance there. But like, yeah, the setup time in Origins, the amount of stuff you just need to know is just insane. And it's like, unless if you play it every single day, like you're not going to remember all that. It's just, I don't know. I didn't find it fun to get on, to walk slow in mud, get hit by a boss zombie for like the first time or whatever it was, one of the first times. And then like, it takes me an hour to build an ice staff. And it's like, as from like a casual perspective, that kind of sucked. And like, unless if I was going to put a million hours into it, it wasn't really worth it. So,
and you know what that means, Joe?
What?
That means you should die.
I know, right? What a sin. What a sin. But then again, like I like Shadows of Evil, so like I don't really know, where is my opinion valid there? I don't know.
Bro,
am I just like disgruntled about Origins?
Nah, bro, that's another thing. People in the zombies community historically find it really difficult to understand that opinions can change.
I know, it's crazy.
And taste can change as well.
Yeah.
Like, it drives me insane. The people that will be like, you hated the idea of a more complex Easter egg on this map, and so you have to hate it on every other map ever.
Right. That's just not the case.
Yeah.
That's not the case. It doesn't
and vice
have
versa.
to be that way.
Like, I don't hate Verrucht because Verrucht is tiny and Easter eggless, like, and papless. Like, I still love Verrucht, but
still a classic, man.
Yeah. So all that's to say, yes, there is stuff in Black Ops 4 right now. Sorry. Wow. Numb flashbacks.
Goodness. Oh my God.
Yes, there is stuff in Black Ops 6 right now, which I think is worthy of scrutiny from the zombies community. And there is stuff that I will be making whiteboard videos on in the next couple of days and weeks, which are critical videos. I'm unpacking things that I think could be bad. That will happen. So too will I make stuff about what's good, but the negative stuff will be there, just as the positive stuff will be. That doesn't mean that the hype is gone by any means from my perspective. Like, I saw some people being like, Liberty Falls, L, therefore, not touching Black Ops 6 ever. And I'm like, hold on.
What? Before you played the game?
Yeah, like...
Did you see Terminus?
Right.
Did you watch it?
I think, because there hasn't been live gameplay of Terminus, I think people just don't trust it, which is valid, to be fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It has the vibes, though. It has all the things that we see are problems with Liberty Falls.
It's a lot more of a zombies map in aesthetic
exactly.
and aura. Yeah. And I get it if you don't want to play the game at launch and you want to wait for a free weekend. I totally get that. And I totally get not pre-ordering it. I would always say never pre-order a game. That's just generally a bad idea. It's asking for trouble to pre-order a game. But I don't know about you, Joe. I am still really excited. I think it's going to be a really amazing year for zombies, even if Liberty Falls is a 2 out of 10. I still think it's going to be a good year.
It should be. I mean, they're setting it up so that we have a lot of content with zombies, presumably. Like, we're going to get a DLC before next year.
Yeah, that's great. That's so good.
What? Like, did that happen? Dead of the Night came out in December.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it did.
It's so many maps. Dude, I don't even know how. But
how did we get 5 maps?
That is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And I guess that year wasn't very bullish after the launch month, but
yeah, I mean, it was mixed, but also looking back, Black Ops 4 compared to Vanguard, I'd take Black Ops 4 every time.
Night and day.
Yeah.
And Black Ops 4, it's got the vibes. It has like the maps, the art, like everything looks great. You can tell so much effort was put in to a lot of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of Dead of Night. There's a lot in it though.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a celebrity cast. It's like, when have we had that again? Never, right?
Yeah. I think also just generally though, like the fact that we got so much before Christmas was crazy. The fact that we're getting that again now, even though Treyarch recognized the missteps they made with Black Ops 4, and they're still being like, we're actually going to hit production schedule to get a third map out before Christmas. That is awesome. Like that is an objectively
really
good
awesome
sign for the fact that Zombies is not like behind in development.
Right. There's not like 5 people working on it.
Yeah.
You know, they're putting out a map in December. Like,
so
there's no way.
That in it is exciting. Launch itself is still going to be exciting for me. A lot of the progression stuff that they're putting in the game does sound exciting. I want more info on augments. You sound pretty excited about the augments, right?
The augments sound very exciting on paper. I think.
Oh, true. Yeah.
It's like it almost feels like a Destiny upgrade system for your class, right?
Yeah.
You pick like this different ultimate ability, and like you could build around that, and that sort of thing I've been waiting for in Zombies since like 2018. I've been like, where is this sort of stuff? Give us loot and gear, and that's essentially what this is. Because the augments you unlock through gameplay, right?
Yep.
And then you get to equip them, and that's essentially getting loot and gearing up and building your character in an RPG. And it's like I'm like Zombies is missing that, so I'm really excited for that system, and I'm curious how it plays out.
Yeah.
And if like it actually adds variety to the game, or people just find the strongest thing and use it, which is probably going to be the case. But
my fear is people grind it and do that exactly what you said. They find the strongest thing, then that's that. But then the strongest thing is still mid to begin with.
Yeah, that's a worry. That is a worry. Because they kind of
you've seen that happen in Diablo, right?
Yeah. So Diablo 4 came out, and everything was just kind of mid. Like everything, like the effects on the abilities weren't that cool. And then like over the last year and a half since the game came out, they've updated it in so many ways, and the gear is completely updated. And like, there's so many new pieces and different things that you can do with a build now. Is that there's like 100 builds you can make, and it doesn't really matter what you pick because they're all kind of good. Like half of them are going to be viable for the end game stuff. And it's like they have this build variety. They have these really cool effects. They have these really fun things to do. It feels satisfying, you know. And even though the game is easier now, it's so much more fun. And it's like there's this fun factor that I think people like to focus on. It's like, well, we have to add a challenge to this, and then we have to make this worse because it's like we don't want it to be too much fun, but make everything fun. I don't know, make everything fun.
One of the things they do need to do, they need to make sure that at launch things aren't so bombastic and crazy and easy that then they can't make it easier later in the year. Because like,
you know, that's true. Like, I don't want the game to be super easy either. It's a really hard balance. I'm thankful I'm not a developer. Because like the things that I want, like they just might be too unrealistic for this game. But like, I don't know. I don't want the game to be super easy, but I want to have things that are powerful and I make me feel like I have this fantasy power element, you know? And Black Ops 4 had a little bit of that with the special weapons. Like you could pull out a sword or like the gun and sword or whatever it was. I don't remember the names. Those are really cool. And it's like that was super stylistic and super zombies oriented. And then, you know, now we have the field upgrades, which are like a little thing that you pull out and like squeeze
some like, aerosol onto it.
Like, yeah, like, you know, so like that part of it is like a step down from what Black Ops 4 had art direction wise, but they could just make the effects really cool and we could come out with something that's fun and exciting to use. And it's like, I want to use this whenever it's charged up.
Yeah, exactly. Like whenever I can proc my weird augment combo where I use melee macchiato to punch a zombie, but then the zombie that gets punched into the air explodes in like a cloud of coffee beans, and all the coffee beans are their own individual grenades, and those all then explode in an area of effect. Like, yeah, give me silly stuff like that. But yeah, it might just take 6 months for those things to get that crazy, because at launch it might be like you punch with melee macchiato and it just does more damage. Like,
yeah, exactly. So I mean, we'll see how it progresses over the year. And I hope they make it really fun. I hope they're fun.
on the topic of years, this is the least smooth segue ever. But on the topic of years, years ago, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 came out, and years later, i.e., this year, it's busted.
Yeah, it is.
Except it's not busted. Except it's is busted.
Yeah, it's busted, but we've known it's busted.
Yeah. So
that's pretty much it.
The sort of story here for people that are a bit confused is that zombies in Black Ops 3 has been unsafe to play for a while in certain scenarios. And it's unsafe in the sense that at one point, people could actually just like inject malware onto your PC through Black Ops 3. But I believe that got patched pretty fast. And then what was happening was the server that you're playing on Black Ops 3 can basically be shut down by an external party if you're playing on PC. So it's something that happens through Steam. I can be playing Black Ops 3 zombies, custom zombies, whatever, and I can be having a nice, fun time, and somebody can basically just log on and just boot me off. And it sucked when it happened. It sucked when it started. It killed my interest in customs completely. I haven't played customs since then. Literally, it's been years.
Yeah.
And it was tragic. It was a real loss, and it's something that I should probably make a video about at some point. And if one of the sort of prominent folks in the community, like Shiversoft, Sirius, I think Guns of TZ's been quite involved with things as well, like those sorts of folks. If you guys want to maybe come on the podcast sometime, talk about it, that'd be awesome. But over the years, there's been work done by the community to try and fix these problems on behalf of Activision and Treyarch, because Treyarch have not done anything. So there's a T7 patch. T7 is Black Ops 3. And there's a T7 patch that you can apply to the game to make it safe to play so that people can't boot you offline. Just like you can play Plutonium on Black Ops 2 to stop people booting you offline on that, right? And the story goes, as I understand it, Joe, and maybe you know more about this than I do, but the story goes that in the past week, it's become newly vulnerable again, and it's once again unsafe to play to the point that people can inject stuff into your PC. Is that in line with your understanding, Joe?
That's my understanding. If anybody else knows anything different, let us know. But
yeah,
like as far as I'm aware, yes, that's possible now.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's been possible again. But...
Well, no. So I think
okay.
I think basically there's a conflation happening here of some people thinking the problem is worse than it actually is.
Okay.
Basically, the key core thing that I believe is sort of the current circumstances is that if you are using the T7 patch, right, that's the community patch, if you're using that and you're playing with a network password, I believe that you are completely safe currently.
Yes.
Which is great news because there's no way for that to change, right? As far as I understand it, in a year's time, stuff could happen with Black Ops 3. As far as I understand it, the patch is still going to continue to work. So customs is like safe in that regard.
Yes.
The problem is that if Treyarch, for some reason, tried to shut down the patch, then we might have an issue because the patch technically is against the EULA, right? The end user license agreement that all players of Call of Duty sign when they play the game prevents you from doing any funny business like this, applying patches to your executable. That's all against the terms and conditions.
Yep.
So technically Treyarch could shut this down.
I know, which would be nuts if they did that. And if they didn't, imagine if they didn't fix it. There's like, all right, everybody, you're going to be vulnerable now.
Right.
That'd be crazy.
And the crazy thing as well is that in the fallout of all the confusion this week, which I still don't fully have a way to sort of completely understand, but in my current understanding of it, Sirius, who I maybe developed the patch, or maybe is one of the developers of the patch, I'm not sure.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, he's credited with making the patch.
Yeah, so Sirius is so tired of the zombies community being so, let's say, rambunctious and just the miscommunication about everything and all those sorts of things, that Sirius is basically like, I can't deal with this anymore. Which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Because Sirius is trying to maintain something which is not their responsibility at all. And so they're stepping back, which is like so fair enough. But it worries me because without their work, Black Ops 3 zombies, like custom zombies, would be, I mean, if we didn't have the T7 patch, what would we do?
Playable.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, it just wouldn't be a game you can play.
Which is nuts.
That they still sell. It's just...
They still sell for full price.
Well, dude, World at War. You buy World at War on Steam right now, you don't get a key, and you can't make an account to play online. You have to get Plutonium to play World at War.
Really?
If you are a new user, yes.
Do you reckon that's one of the reasons Plutonium has not been taken offline?
Maybe. It's like providing some sort of a service.
Yeah.
For them. Like, and the T7 patch, like, why are they going to get rid of it? They don't have to do the work. It's like, this guy already made it, you know? Plutonium's there. It fixes everything.
In the H2, like, multiplayer case, right, that I did that video on.
The Modern Warfare 2 remastered thing. Yep. For
that, I guess they were like, well, this isn't doing us a service. This is purely eating into our sales. But like with Plutonium, for instance, you need like Black Ops 2 installed in order for it to work, right?
Yeah.
So I guess they're like, well, it's like H2, it's like H2M, except it's fixing a problem that we have that we don't want to fix, right?
Exactly. They don't want to put any man hours into it. It's just...
Damn.
It doesn't happen. So
I've never thought about it that way, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's how I see it. I'm like, why are they gonna do something about it? They haven't done anything about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you wish they would just fix it on their own.
Yeah.
Like,
and at least just comment on it as well, man.
Right. It's just radio silence from them, right? Ever since, except for the one patch that fixed the big vulnerability, and then that was it.
I think so, something like that.
Yeah.
But again, I also could be mistaken about a bunch of those things. I don't know the full story like intimately.
Yeah, neither do I, because I never got into the customs on BO3, and like I'm kind of disconnected with that story too.
Yeah, and it's hard to get into it because there's so much misinformation floating around.
Yeah,
because like you hear from one, like you can so easily find a clip of someone being in a Black Ops 3 Zombies lobby and someone joining their game and like being racist on mic and forcing their way into the lobby, even if it's like a closed lobby. And then booting them offline and shutting off their internet and like DDoSing them. And it takes one clip of that for thousands of people to be like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want that kind of hassle in my life. You know?
What? Yeah, exactly. And like people that hear that you need a patch to play the game, it's like, why is a casual going to go on Black Ops 3 and play some customs now?
Yeah.
Why are they going to buy this game? Like, they have to do extra stuff.
I mean, that as well, even with the patch, even with the precautions, it's like, like, and rightly so, people should not trust a community patch by default, right?
No, exactly.
Like, that's something that happened with H2M. Activision shut it down, and then the next day, there were versions of it floating around that people were still sharing, despite the fact that it had been shut down. But they had like viruses in the executable.
Exactly.
So people were getting
bad actors everywhere.
Yeah. It's not good, man. It sucks. And I'm sad that Activision can't just step up and like fix Black Ops 3 for good. But we have the T7 patch, and so I wanted to just include that in this video as like a bit of good PR for Black Ops 3 Zombies, that yes, so long as you use the T7 patch with network password, you are good, I think.
We think. Well, I'm pretty sure Sirius said it was going to work forever.
Yeah, I'll link in the description a post from Sirius, which has more info so that you guys can see what Sirius's own words are on the topic. But that requires you to trust Sirius, right? It'd be much easier to just trust Activision, but unfortunately... That's where they've left us.
They made it very hard.
Yeah. Speaking of Activision, in the last couple of days, they actually commented on Liberty Falls.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got a new interview from some of the Activision staff and Treyarch staff about just all things Black Ops 6, right? It was just like it's a general post. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
there was like a little blurb about zombies.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's a post that they put out on VentureBeat. So outside of the normal zombies cadence of stuff that we had in August, Treyarch will obviously be on just the general press kind of rotation through all of September and much of October as they sort of spin up the trad marketing for the game. And they put out this VentureBeat put out an article saying, are the new maps larger? Are they harder to make these days? Like, what's the deal? And it was Miles Leslie commenting. And my opinion of Miles Leslie is that Miles has been on the team for a very long time. Miles often, weirdly, is talking about zombies stuff, but I don't get the impression that Miles Leslie is the zombies guy at all.
Okay.
It's kind of weird. Like, I have full respect for him and his development abilities and all that sort of stuff, but like, he just seems to be kind of wheeled out, I guess, by Activision as someone that is like really good on camera. He's really good at talking about the games. He's confident. He's got his wits about him. He always seems to sort of do a good job. And so I get it why he's there. Maybe on the zombies team, it's just harder to find people, or maybe it's just that on the zombies team, they're busy with other things. Maybe their development timeline is just wonky. I don't know. But yeah, weirdly, I always get the impression that Miles is more of a multiplayer or a Warzone guy, maybe, but mostly MP is my impression. He seems to talk about zombies a lot regardless. And he was basically like, for example, he said, the zombies scene is killing it. What does that mean, Miles?
What does it mean? Is that us?
Yeah, are we killing it right now? Are we the zombies scene? Because that's sort of what that sounds like.
Right.
But then he's meant to be promoting the game, so he's probably just talking about the zombies devs, but I don't know.
The whole thing as a whole, the marketing, I don't know.
Yeah,
right?
not sure.
I don't know. The marketing killed it, so.
The marketing did kill it, so fair enough if that's what he's talking about, right?
Until Liberty Falls.
Yeah. So he said, Terminus is huge in this article. And then he said, Liberty Falls is huge and complex in its own way, the small town.
Okay.
What? It's so confusing because they've said small town so many times.
Yep.
But then he's also saying Liberty Falls is huge.
Huge. I mean, is there an underground section? He said it's complex, right?
That's the thing. No word from Miles Leslie on whether or not it has an underground section, which is like, I feel like at this point, we have convinced ourselves so hard it has an underground section.
It has to, right? The catacombs. The catacombs of Liberty Falls.
Can you imagine?
Oh, God. We finally get the catacombs map all these years later.
What if there's a portal to Paris and it's the Paris catacombs?
Oh, all right. I'm in.
It's the crypt of the church. You go down, but you know how the portal into the entrance to the church is a portal into the Dark Ether, right?
Yep.
So that's obviously a portal that's in a wall, right? What if in the church there's a portal that's in the floor, like you push a tomb aside and there's a portal in the floor and you like step down into it and you go down a set of stairs and you're in the Paris catacombs.
That'd be so sick.
That'd be pretty cool, right?
What do they do on Ratchet and Clank on PS5? Isn't it like you just go through a portal and you're in a different world completely?
Yeah, that game is really good at that. They use the PS5 like SSD tech to load it really fast, like faster than you'd expect to be possible. And then you're basically getting flung through portals and you're like, boom, I'm in a jungle. Boom, I'm in a city. Boom, I'm in the Arctic.
Sick.
It's really cool. I want that in zombies.
That would be awesome. That'd be so awesome. Like, that's always been something I've wanted to do in zombies, dude. The Sky Island maps that Quiz would make in Call of Duty World at War.
Yep.
Like, that was our brainchild all night one time. We're like, it'd be so cool if there were a bunch of islands and zombies. You know, I want different locations on the same map. What's the big deal? Liberty Falls, give us the Paris catacombs. Yeah. It's not too much to ask for. You already made it once and then made it into Moon.
So Miles Leslie, lead zombies developer. Make it happen, man.
Miles, let's go.
Let's go, Miles. Woo.
Yeah.
He said it's huge and complex. And he said, thinking about Black Ops 3, when we had a bunch of zombies maps day one, which was not Black Ops 3, like, you're definitely meaning to say Black Ops 4 there, but fine. Maybe it's an issue with VentureBeat. Who knows? We're learning from everything we did before to deliver unique experiences. Okay, boilerplate as hell. Then he says the main quests are huge.
Yes.
That's exciting.
That is extremely exciting. That's very bullish.
Yeah, but...
Quests.
Yeah, true. Also quests. But I mean, we already know that Terminus and Liberty Falls both have main quests, so it's probably just that. But like, bro, what if they have two?
Bro,
can you imagine all the hate we've been giving Liberty Falls? What if it has 3 main quests?
That'd be nuts, dude. That would be absolutely nuts. Imagine we solve the first one, we just find out there's a second.
Dude,
That'd be so insane. I don't know what I would do. I would cry.
I would cry. I'd 100%. I'd be, ooh, like,
yeah.
I honestly think it is impossible these days for Activision to do something like that and actually surprise us. Like, that is my cynical old man yells at cloud perspective.
Okay.
But if they do it, I will cry. I will cry. It would be so good.
Would it be the first time?
Yeah, but it's been a while since it happened.
I've been looking for a good cry.
I've been looking for a good Zombies is my outlet. I've got a lot of stuff I need to work through, and I need a zombies outlet. Like,
maybe they'll kill Richtofen again.
Yeah, I'd take that. That would
maybe
work. Yeah. I could go with that.
Kill him for what, a third time?
Stanley's like, yes. Yeah. So it's interesting that he said that, but I mean, the main quests are huge. Sounds like it could be an interesting sentence if you've got your sort of like copium hat on. But when it's next to another sentence, which is, it's packed with a lot of gameplay. Yeah, I'm like, okay.
True.
Okay, true.
True.
Yeah.
We saw the gameplay. We know what it is.
Yeah. So stuff like that, I'm like, I don't know what to believe from these sorts of articles, but he did say Liberty Falls is huge, and the fact that he said that means that he's got to deliver that now, right? So Activision, Treyarch, I'm looking for delivery.
I mean, what we saw wasn't that small by any means, right?
I guess
like it didn't feel small. Maybe that's because like we just don't understand the layout.
Yeah,
things feel bigger when you don't understand it.
I guess it's kind of big in the sense that if you took like would you say Gorod is a big map or a medium-sized map?
That's a good question. It feels big. I think they just use space really well. You know?
I agree.
Like you haven't played it, but like Elden Ring and Dark Souls.
Yeah.
They use space really, really well. They're like, hey, this new DLC for Elden Ring, it's going to be the size of like Limgrave, you know, the first area in the game. And then it's like the size of that. However, there's like 5 different levels to it. And it's like, oh, it turns out it takes 30 hours to explore the whole thing.
Right.
And it's like, all right. You know? So like Garag Krovi, there's a lot to it. It's just they have clever ways of routing you around the map.
And also making it feel small even when it is a little larger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were masterful at doing that in early Zombies. Making things feel small but big.
The reason I ask is because I think Liberty Falls, one of its weakest points is that it feels big when small.
Yeah, exactly.
And that isn't good. Like,
well, that's all the open areas and stuff.
There's so many of them. And I think feeling like you're enclosed and you're under pressure in Zombies is so important to the experience. And
for sure,
I guess there's an argument to be made like, oh, well, if you're a casual, you don't want it to be in a small experience. But I would then question whether you actually want to play Zombies or not.
Right. It's like, you're going to play for one game then.
Yeah.
It's like, what you just don't like the gameplay. I don't know.
Yeah. This is something that I think it's a big concern with the normification of Zombies overall. They are catering to another audience that likes other things, but there's a point where it stops being about bringing those people to the thing that we love, and it starts being about making the Zombies people love the sanitized version of Zombies that fits the Warzone people, right?
Yeah.
Like, it could go the other way. We always talk about it like it's bringing them to Zombies. But where in the last 5 years has it felt like Treyarch has brought the casual people to the hardcore experience? Can we just do that as a thought exercise? If you're listening to this, drop me a comment. When was the last time it felt like Treyarch converted a casual into a hardcore zombies player?
COD World at War.
Okay. No, but like, if we go back in time, like Modern Warfare Zombies, I don't think it happened.
No, it didn't.
I don't think it happened. I think that there was some harder activities in there, like the Entity secret boss fight thing.
Yes.
And that's cool, but I don't think...
Really cool moments.
Yeah, cool moments. I don't think it's converting people. In Cold War, were there things in Cold War that converted people from casual to hardcore? Was there a reason in Cold War to be sick at the game?
I mean, it was just easier to get to high rounds.
Yeah.
So, like, more people would go for them.
But then I feel like they would
go for it.
I feel like they then got bored because it was too easy.
Maybe. But then again, it's like, oh, that didn't take me too long. And that was fun.
Well, I don't know.
Fun, right?
I don't know, man, because I've seen so many people say I got to round 50 on Cold War, which is my highest round in zombies ever, and then I've never touched it ever again. Like,
all right, fair enough.
I see that a lot, and I've never seen someone be like, I got to 50 in Cold War, and it was easier than before, and it's my highest round ever, and it made me want to do it 1,000 times. I don't think I saw people do that during Cold War.
Yeah, maybe not. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, and it's lost the challenge and the challenge from round one, you know, and you can talk about loadouts and starting pistol and that progression of power and how like you're just super powerful at the start of a game now.
Right.
It's just like, you know, there's no challenge to get to round 10, and it's just, even for a casual player, like they're going to be able to do it maybe after like one try if they've never played before.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, unless you're Kevin Drew's brother, I guess.
I mean, that's a casual that knows how to use their thumbs like on a controller. It's just like, have you played like multiplayer for a little bit? I don't know.
Dude, I don't know, man. That's the thing.
Am I wrong?
I think you would be surprised. The median Call of Duty Zombies player, I think their average round is about 6.
You know, yeah, probably.
And like, I think that's actually data that at some point Treyarch might have actually said as well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like that's not me just being like, like, well, actually, I think genuinely most Zombies players, if you look at median number, that person gets to round 6 and dies. I think the portion of people that get past round 10, let's say, I think they very quickly put up numbers like 30, 40, etc. I don't think there's like a middle class in zombies.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But I think that's like 5% of the audience, like, or maybe 10% of the audience. And I think in terms of just sheer number of people, the like better people get to like round 10 or 11 or 12 or something. But the majority die 15 minutes into the game, kind of thing. Which is depressing.
Very.
And so the question of when has Treyarch converted those people to hardcore players persists, right? Because I don't think they ever, in the last 5 years, have. I don't think that's been there. But I also don't know, has it ever been there in a decided and intentional manner to convert the normies? No. I just think that previously they designed for people that weren't the normies. They designed for people like us.
Exactly. It's like, if you want it, you're going to play it, you're going to love it because there's lore, you're a nerd.
Yeah.
That's why
and like,
you're playing this.
It's good to be a nerd. Like, we respect the nerds, and the sheer difficulty, that converted casuals to hardcore people because they were like, I have something to aspire to because other people are more nerdy than me, and that can't stand.
Exactly.
Yeah. And now it's much more middle ground. But who knows? Maybe
we'll see with guided mode. See what happens. I'm really curious to see that conversion rate. I want to know the percent. I want to know the numbers.
Yeah.
Of people that actually complete it this year.
And if they don't publish those numbers, we know it's cheeks.
Oh yeah, right. They would tell us all about some good numbers there.
The fact that they're like, the Black Ops 6 beta's been number 1 for matches played, number 1 for hours spent, number 1 for this, number 1 for that.
Yeah.
The fact that they did that for Modern Warfare 3 zombies of all things. Like, if we don't get most Easter egg completions in history by 1 week after guided mode comes out, then Treyarch have failed.
Yes.
Like, they just have. If it's guided in the game, and if Kevin Drew is being truthful that the stat is 5% of players completed the D Machine Easter egg, if they can't get past 5% by making it a playlist, then that's a massive failure. So I need to see that stat, Treyarch. I need it. I need that first week of guided mode. If you don't do it, something's gone wrong. And probably what's gone wrong is that they haven't marketed guided mode well enough, and they need to spend on marketing that point. Because otherwise that conversion they're trying to do of casual to hardcore is never going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I like, if it's just a message of the day, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
It's not going to cut it.
Yeah. So guided mode is TBD. I'm going to do a whiteboard on it at some point. I got the whiteboard back there. I'm going to definitely do that quite soon. I have a lot of thoughts in various directions, and that actually is a nice segue to talk about some of the stuff that's coming on the channel quite soon. So that whiteboard video will be one of those upcoming posts. Joe and I are also going to play a bit of zombies together, right?
We are. Yes. We want to do some live comms and do some zombies, maybe challenges, maybe play some old maps,
Yeah.
Whatever we're feeling.
This idea kind of came from the other day. I did a stream, and Joe and I played Origins and Mob of the Dead just for fun for like an hour before the stream. And we're going to do it again sometime.
It was actually really fun.
Yeah. I had a really good time.
Yeah. Some old maps, they're fun to just play, talk about, just have fun with chat, like if we're streaming.
Exactly.
So yeah, that'll be cool. What do you guys want to see?
Yeah.
What should we play?
That is the question. Is there anything in particular that you think we should attempt? I would love to get your thoughts, guys, because there's the normal stuff from over the years, like we'll do this Easter egg in 2024. Woo! That's cool. Woo. Fine. And we will do that. But there's also maybe some more interesting stuff, like, especially because it's co-op. Can we do for example, this is like a super, super specific example.
Okay.
But if we did like a race to 1 million points on Die Rise, I know this is so specific.
Okay.
But like, imagine if we were doing that and we were creating a challenge it was obviously it's a co-op challenge, right? So we're in the same game together. That means we can try and grief each other. So I can build the trample steam. I can try and fling you off the map. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Those sorts of things I would love to experiment with a little bit, but also I'm sure Joe and I will just do some Easter egg runs and stuff. And
some more normal stuff.
Yeah. So let us know
what popular challenges out there too.
Yeah. We're open to whatever, basically. So just let us know what you want to see. Because I'm definitely excited to get Joe on the channel a little bit more. And I also myself haven't played a lot of zombies in the last month or two because we've been so busy making the travel content, and I guess by the time this is out you're going to see what that travel content is, because I was just abroad, but that might not be out just yet, so I don't know. We'll see. But like, it's cool doing things like that. Doing obviously all the coverage of launch and all the whiteboard stuff, like not launch of Next. There's been a lot to do, and I haven't had a lot of chances to actually play zombies. So
yeah, we need to get back into the swing of it, because I haven't even played a lot either. I've just been making videos.
Yeah, we're rusty.
Yep.
Yeah.
All I do is just go capture some footage.
Yeah.
And then I'm out of the game editing.
Yep. So yeah, let us know, guys, and we'll link some of those on screen, I'm sure, as well here, if they are uploaded nice and soon, which they should be. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed as well, obviously, so you don't miss them. And I'll see you in those videos. Thanks for listening today.
Goodbye.